Hi, everyone. My name is Danny Aronson. I am the CEO of Tuned. Tuned is the first comprehensive hearing health benefit, offering employers the ability to offer comprehensive hearing health to their employees, just like dental and vision. And in this series, I'm joined by Dr. Heather Malyuk. We are highlighting some of our exciting and amazing and creative and effective solutions that are part of the Tune platform and are offered to all employees who sign up through their employers to the platform. And today I am very excited to be joined by Bardy and Michael Piskosz from MindEar. Excited to have you guys with us and would love to share and hear about, about you guys, about your history, about what kind of got you into tinnitus treatment, how the app works. So without further ado, Fabrice and Michael, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Danny, for the introduction. And yes, we are here to give you some indication of what we are doing at MindEar and also help you understand the impact of tinnitus in the work life. So at MindEar, we are an online platform that we developed specifically for people who have tinnitus. And our mission is really to make tinnitus care affordable and accessible to anybody, anywhere. For that, we have been developing an app, which is at the core of what we are doing. And this app is offering various features which can help anybody with suffering from tinnitus to find some relief. So inside the app, if you open or if you can download the app either on Android or Apple, the app is available on both platforms. You will get access to a sound library, and where you will find different soundscapes, which can be very effective to help the person to find the tinnitus less noticeable. One of the core features of the app is also like a guided cognitive behavioral therapy session, where we use the power of a chatbot in order to help you to change your response to the tinnitus. Tinnitus is experienced by around like 15% of the population, and it can become very distressing to the point where it can make you more stressed, anxious, and you can largely affect your concentration or how you feel. Inside the app, we will also have like a library of mindfulness exercise, which are here to help you to reduce stress and improve your emotional well-being by practicing different mindfulness practice. We also have access to a hearing screening, and the hearing screening is relatively important in order to identify any hearing loss that might be contributing to the tinnitus. In certain cases, hearing aid or sound amplification can be helpful, as well as sound therapy that can also be provided through a hearing aid. So it's a really important aspect to be able to identify if there's a hearing loss. Finally, inside the app, we have a lot of educational material, which is really important for the person to understand that there is a solution and there is a treatment option which can help you to regain control. That's probably the most important element. Often, we know that tinnitus patients have been looking for solution. They talk to their GPs, but it's often that we hear that their GPs have been, or in certain cases, GPs can tell their patients that there's nothing that they can do, and they will need to get used to it. If in case you feel that tinnitus is a problem, there's definitely options to regain control and to feel better. And basically, this app has multiple evidence-based tools, which we try to combine into one platform. So having said that, it's just like an overview of what we are providing at MindEar, and hopefully we're going to get into more details.
Awesome. Thank you, Fabrice. You raised a really important point, which is for the tens of millions of Americans who are suffering with tinnitus. They do often go to their general care practitioner and they're told, oh, yeah, you really can't do anything about it. And that's not true. And it's just because that population of providers don't have as much education as audiologists and folks like, us who are working in the field. So thank you for pointing that out and the importance of a benefit like this, giving access. For individuals who have tinnitus, I'm curious if MindEar has an ideal candidate. So would it be individuals with more severe tinnitus, mild tinnitus? Is it everybody? Who is the ideal end user for MindEar?
Yeah, I'll jump on that one for you. The app is built in a fashion that it's built for the many, but can also benefit the few, right? So the large majority of people with tinnitus have more of a mild tinnitus, more of an annoyance. But there is a subset of that population who has very disruptive tinnitus, right? It affects them on a daily, hourly, minute-to-minute basis. So the app, as Fabrice mentioned, has a variety of different proven techniques that you can engage with, regardless of the effects of your tinnitus. So if you're someone with more mild tinnitus, and maybe you just need some sound therapy in the background to help distract you while you're working, you can activate the sound library. If you're someone who needs a little bit more work on restructuring the way you feel about your tinnitus and the stress that it's creating, as Fabrice mentioned, we have stress reducing exercises and mindfulness exercises, which can help people with more distressing tinnitus as well. So really, wherever you are on that tinnitus distress spectrum, there's a feature or features that can benefit you. So it really can help anybody struggling with tinnitus.
That's
I want
awesome.
to, that's awesome. I want to, for the benefit of people seeing this, let's define tinnitus. How do people experience it? What is it exactly? How do I know that I have this strange thing going on, but I've never been able to give it a name, or I don't know what it is, or let's give some background on the actual problem.
Fabrice?
Michael, do you want to?
So, if you look at tinnitus's proper definition is the hearing a sound without an external sound being present, right? So it's an internal sound that people hear. Now, how people describe it can be so unique from person to person. The most common description is ringing in the ears. But any professional who's worked with tinnitus knows that that's only a percentage of the people. Some people hear a whooshing, some people hear a chirping, some people hear voices. There's lots of different ways that people can describe tinnitus, which also makes it challenging because there's not a one-size-fits-all solution that just helps everybody across the board. It's not like taking Tylenol and everybody feels some pain relief. It's a little more complex than that. And that's another great thing about the MindEar app is that there's so much flexibility and diversity within the app, depending on how you are particularly struggling with your tinnitus. There is a configuration within the app that can work for you. You have the ability to really personalize it according to what your needs are. Now, tinnitus in and of itself, many, many people experience it. Heather pointed out tens upon tens of millions of people, somewhere upwards of 40 to 50 million Americans experience it to some degree. And as I mentioned earlier, some people experience it to a more disruptive degree. Tinnitus really becomes a hindrance when it gets to that disruptive level, when it keeps us from being able to attend and focus to the things that are important to us. Maybe it starts disrupting our concentration, our ability to communicate with colleagues, friends, loved ones. It can interfere with our workday, which ultimately can make us less productive. And one of the things that's most important, especially in the workplace, if you work in a noisy environment, noise is really the enemy when it comes to hearing health, which is tinnitus is a part of. So one thing I can always recommend to people, regardless of who you are, if you're exposed to noise, not just at the workplace, but anywhere in life, make sure to protect your hearing with proper ear protection, because if you are experiencing tinnitus or some hearing loss, that noise exposure is only going to make things worse. So you really want to make sure to protect and mitigate that noise exposure so that your tinnitus doesn't exacerbate over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for all that information. And I think I'm going to skip ahead to something I was going to ask you guys while we're on the topic of the workforce. So the modern workforce, individuals who have tinnitus, we know because we work in this industry exactly what you mentioned. Concentration can be disrupted, communication can be an issue, not to mention just isolation, anxiety, depression, everything that can get in the way because tinnitus really does relate to mental health. How is MindEar uniquely poised to help these individuals? I think I already know, but I'm going to let you answer because of this whole world of remote care and ease of access and things like that. But give me an idea of how you believe MindEar really fits into the modern workforce to help these individuals.
Yeah, so to go back to, there's some research, a few articles who have been looking at the impact of tinnitus for people working. And we know that it has a significant impact on mental health, which can then have an impact on productivity. The paper who have been published shows that a mild degree of tinnitus, for a person who has a mild degree of tinnitus, we can see an average of 5-6 day of leave per year, where a person who has a moderate degree of tinnitus shows 19.8 sick days per year. And a person who has severe tinnitus will have 21 sick days per year. So there's a quadrupling of the number of sick leaves depending to the severity. And here, as an online platform for tinnitus care, the difficulty is both to find experts, but also to make that you can access this tinnitus care as quickly as possible, but also in an easy way. And it's where I think the MindEar app can be a great solution. It's inside your pocket. We know that now the penetration of the mobile technology is very high, and we make that by the touch on your screen, you can basically get access to both a platform which is specialized to help people who have this condition, but also helps people to connect to a team of experts. And that's probably very unique. We have the app that we talked about, and we also have group sessions that we organize every second weeks with people who can join a more complete program. So you have the possibility to do it completely on your own, at your own pace, or you have the possibility to interact with tinnitus expert. And it's in this hybrid model that we found like a lot of power in order to basically for every person in the workforce to find what they feel is needed for them. So flexibility, accessibility are probably two of the main factors. And we know that we're all busy. So like having to get an appointment, getting to the city and finding a place where you can find a tinnitus expert can be extremely difficult. And then lastly, the cost, making it affordable so that the largest number of people can access the solution.
Perfect. I think what you're saying, because of the flexibility, there isn't a large daily commitment unless someone wants it to be. So the way the app works where you can play sounds, I'm picturing someone working at a desk and having a background sound on the app to help their concentration, but they could also choose daily to spend a certain amount of time working with cognitive behavioral therapy, or they can decide to go to a group session. So in terms of the daily time commitment, it sounds like that can be very flexible as well.
Yeah, that's correct. And then maybe I can tell a little bit more about the research we have been conducting at the University of Auckland, where we saw that approximately 10 minutes of engagement per day is around the ideal time of engagement for each user. Like during this time, we're going to have like every day is going to be slightly different, but we're going to basically be recommending some relaxation exercise, some sound therapy, but also possibility to interact with a chatbot with some gratitude journaling or like some thoughts restructuring. So it's the small bites, and the ideal way of using it is we know that it's going to take a little bit of time. We know that already after 8 weeks, if the person has been using the app, we saw a large proportion of the user who are going to see like a significant improvement. I'm talking about 65% of users are going to find a significant improvement already after 8 weeks. And we know that the proportion of people who is going to continue using the app is going to continue improving. Habituating to tinnitus takes around, like the habituation process, we can say that on average, it takes between 10 months to 12 months to really reach a level where a tinnitus can fall in the background in a place where it's not bothersome. So it's about being able to provide these small bites of information which help the person to develop some coping strategy that they can implement on their daily life.
Wonderful. And then just to make it a little more personal, do you guys have a favorite example of someone who has had a large improvement in their quality of life from using MindEar? Any good stories?
Mike?
Oh,
Yeah.
we do. Yeah, we've got a couple actually. Some really inspiring people who've persevered and committed to the process and seen it through. One particular story was a user we had not too long ago who had a lot of very identifiable stress in their life. They were going through some very significant educational changes, and they were very able to identify where the stress was coming from, but they weren't able to mitigate the tinnitus, even though they knew where the stress was coming from. I'm working with this individual really within just a matter of a couple of weeks. Their improvement from just educating themselves, empowering themselves with knowledge about what tinnitus is, what tinnitus is not, what's factual information, what's the information I probably don't need to pay attention to, and really making that their own allowed them to rise above. So they were already getting improvement from their tinnitus, even though this educational milestone still hadn't taken place. And then when the educational milestone finally took place a couple weeks later, everything just started to subside. The stress, the anxiety, the tinnitus, which allowed them to feel more in control of their tinnitus. And that's really the ultimate goal with MindEar, is it's about flipping the script. It's about starting in a place where you don't feel like you have any control of this thing called tinnitus. And by the end of engaging in our program, we hope you can flip that. And now you feel you're in control of how you feel, think, and manage your tinnitus. That is the ultimate goal. And Heather, you brought it up a little earlier. I think one of the most unique aspects of this platform are that you can work at your own pace. You can follow the guided recommendations, or you can engage manually, work at a pace that works for you, and fit it into your schedule. So it's not overly intrusive, and it's not demanding too much of someone's time, like Fabrice said, since we all have busy schedules.
I think that's a great summary, and again, just to give a sense of how this works for employees who are signed up by their employers to Tuned as a benefit. They typically go through a series of questionnaires, and they go through hearing screening, and then they have a consultation with an audiologist, and we see this coming up over and over and over again. Many times people don't even know the name of it. They can just describe the feeling, and I know how validating it is for a member to go in and say, and share what the experience, and then the audiologist will say, it's called tinnitus. It's very common. Here's what we can do to help you. And we're very, very excited and proud that Tuned offers MindEar as a comprehensive, as a part of the comprehensive hearing health benefit that we offer. And once the audiologist feels that MindEar would be a great solution, the member simply gets the ability to download the app, subscribe, and go through the process. So it's very easy and efficient and utterly unique. And you guys have built a beautiful, easy to use, efficient and effective product. And congrats on that. And we're very happy to have you on the platform.
Yeah. Well, we thank you guys, and we're honored to be a part of it, and we think what Tuned is doing is great. We started off this whole thing about talking about people not having a place to go or being told there's nothing they can do about it. The fact that you guys are offering these services and these benefits is now a great, hard example of there is a place you can go. There are things you can do. So I appreciate you guys instilling that change.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Fabrice and Michael and Heather. I really appreciate it.